Yo, hello and welcome to today's episode of Kule's Kitchen. My name is Kulegani Musobanzi. If you don't know, now you know. Alright, so guys, I just wanted to take a bit of a different approach today. Obviously cooking related, but not necessarily in the kitchen. So I wanted to do a cookbook review, right? I think it's something quite different, something that people don't get exposed to very often, even though we see cookbooks all the time when we go grocery shopping or, you know, we're in exclusive books or whatever the case may be. So I wanted to do a book review of Simple by Yotam Ottolenghi. So he decided to do a very thick, you can see it's very thick cookbook. This book is about, give or take, 250 pages of pretty much just recipes. But he took a structure which I think is actually pretty insane. So if you can see on the front there, he broke up the word simple, right, into 6 different steps. The S standing for short on time. So those are meals that you can cook in under half an hour or so. Then onto the I, which is ingredients. He decided to make certain recipes that you can cook with 10 ingredients or less, which I think is really, very important. Sometimes you don't have an entire pantry at your disposal. So you decide that, no, let me actually do a recipe that is short on ingredients, but still tastes good. Let's move on to the M, right? The M is for make ahead. So there are quite a few recipes, and I don't think we do this all that often just in our everyday lives, but there are a lot of recipes that you can actually make ahead. Store them in the freezer or store them in the fridge for a later date. I know that growing up, I had a lot of situations where my parents were like, no, you know, whatever you've cooked needs to almost be consumed at the same time, right? There's kind of this thing of don't keep things in the fridge for too long. Don't refrigerate things because they're going to go off immediately, which is really not the case, right? So make ahead makes sense, right? There's a couple of ingredients. For example, if you're going to make a pizza, you can actually make your pizza dough, and you can store pizza dough for something like 2 months, and then could just continue making pizzas off the same dough. So those are just one of the aspects that he speaks about when he's, you know, speaking about make ahead. Now let's move on to the P, right? P stands for pantry, things that you would just have on stock in your kitchen at any given moment. Things like onions, things like garlic, things like black pepper, salt, just things that you would have on stock at any given moment. And he incorporates that into his recipes just to almost make it easier for you to think about how you're going to conceptualize making the dish. So if you sit there and go, okay, cool, I'm looking at this recipe, it has a P next to it, which stands for pantry. Odds are I've already got some of the ingredients. I don't have to spend 2 hours at Woolies finding these ingredients. Right, then the L stands for lazy. I think lazy is the, it just makes the most sense, right? Lazy meals, we all know lazy meals. Those meals where you're like, no, I can't possibly be in the kitchen for longer than half an hour, and I can't possibly need more than 10 or 15 ingredients. I need to do this thing fast. I need to do it quick, right? So he decided, let me add lazy to the list. Lazy meals, things that are very easy to make, easy to source as well. The last one, easier than you think. So with Ottolenghi in specific, he uses a lot of ingredients that we don't find in everyday life, which I think is one of the reasons why I don't use this book all that often. Very strange ingredients that he uses, and he even has a segment called Ottolenghi ingredients, right? Ingredients that are just crazy hard to find. Things like sumac, I don't know what sumac is, za'atar, tahini, rose harissa. I don't know what that is. But anyways, these are just some of the ingredients that he has under his Ottolenghi ingredients, and those are the ingredients that are actually very hard to source. You cannot possibly go to Checkers there by the corner and say, hi, can I please have some za'atar? So that's part of the reason why I haven't done quite a few of his recipes. But either way, there is some really nice stuff here. So with the intro, you can see that there's a list, right? He broke it up into obviously meat, cooked veg, raw veg, things you can have on brunch, fish, pudding, which I think makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of striking visuals here, guys. These are amazing. Look at this, like beautiful visuals throughout the book. And then let me give you an example of a recipe. So here's an example of a recipe, right? We have avocado butter on toast with tomato salsa, right? There by the corner, we can see SIM, right? So short in time, ingredients less than 10, and you can make it ahead. Makes perfect sense. That looks amazing, right? That looks incredible for me. And that's pretty much how the rest of his recipes are structured, right? Some of them are complicated to make, I'm not gonna lie. So one of the recipes from him that I particularly enjoy is this one, right? This is the roasted potatoes with feta, oregano, yeah. So oven chips with feta and oregano. Really quick, really simple, really easy. Produces the crunchiest chips I've ever tasted. It's an amazing recipe. So those are just some of the recipes that are, you know, present in his book. He also has some desserts. As you all know, I'm not a dessert connoisseur. I don't do desserts. I find measuring sugar and caster sugar and self-raising what, I find that tedious, and that's just not for me. But maybe you can find something. He also has the segment at the end, right? Don't know if you can see the segment at the end, which says, okay, cool. If you want to have brunch with friends, this is what you do. If you want to have a date night, this is what you do. If you're cooking for the family, this is what you do. If you're cooking for friends in the summertime as opposed to the winter time, this is what you do. I think that's crazy. I think that makes a lot of sense, because specifically with cookbooks and recipes, we don't quite know when to cook the meals, and we also don't know what to pair anything with. So it makes perfect sense to have everything in the book. You have your pairings in the book, you have your recipes in the book, your ingredients, methods, everything is just set in stone, right? Insane book. It makes the world of sense, especially, and I cannot stress this enough, especially if you are into veg, right? If you're a vegetarian, or if you're a vegan, or if you're into veg in general, this book makes the world of sense. I think if I was a vegetarian, I would look no further, right? Obviously, there's that problem of finding difficult ingredients and whatever, but yeah, this thing is fun, guys. At the end of the day, it is just generally quite difficult to follow cookbooks. It's quite difficult to understand them and to follow the methods and to source the ingredients, this, that, and the other. And so it's best to find a book, I would say, locally produced. Obviously, it's incredible to have international cookbooks, because you learn a lot, right? You learn about a lot of different ingredients as well that we don't use in regular cooking. But find someone South African. Okay, in my next book review, I'm going to review a South African cookbook, just to show you the differences, in structure, to show you the storytelling elements some South African cooks have, as opposed to international cookbooks, which are just set for recipes only. Yeah, so guys, that brings me to the end of my book review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the book entices you. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you go and get it. There by Woolworths. You cannot miss the big yellow lemon. Almost forgot the name of the fruit. But yeah, anyways, you cannot miss the big yellow lemon. Find it there by Woolworths, or go to exclusive books if you need to. Yeah, it's a good book, especially if you're into veg. I think you would enjoy it.